Hi guys, so today my editor wants me to talk about success, so I'm going to talk about it. So 4 things I wish I knew before I started a staffing agency. So there's plenty of more things than just 4, but I'm going to talk about 4. I also want to give you a synopsis about how I got here. So long story short, again, my name is Dimitri Nolman. I run NewConfig. We are a $1.5 million in net revenue staffing agency. There's 9 of us here, myself and 8 employees, and we are based in the Philadelphia area, and we staff IT professionals, sales professionals, finance professionals, folks like that. And been in business since 2012. So today's 2024, so 12 years. So I do want to tell you about how I started the business, because that's what my editor wants me to talk about. So I finished college in 2007 at the height of the mortgage collapse, and I went to work at the Chicago Board of Trade in Chicago, and I was a trader. It was a horrible time to become a trader. So I'm going to give you my story, a short story. So I was not a good trader, and I was just not good at it. And I hopped the jobs for 3 years until I left Chicago, went back to Philadelphia, lived in my parents' basement, and I got a job at AmerisourceBergen. And that was the biggest company in the Philadelphia area. They don't make any drugs, they just sell them. They're a drug distributor. Over $50 billion, $60 billion at the time. Now much more, a much bigger company. And they were going through an SAP implementation. That's an IT. They were installing IT software. And I joined at the time when they were doing that. And what happened was I would have IT recruiters call me all the time and then ask me to switch job. And they would never stop because SAP was hot at that time. 12 years later, it's still very hot. And one time I engaged one of them and I asked them, why do you want me to switch job? Why do you care? And he explained to me if I switch jobs, he'd make a commission on my base salary. So let's say my base salary was $75,000, he'd make 20%, $15,000. And that was a lot of money. And I thought I could do it too. I'm like, well, this person knows nothing about IT. I've been living in IT for the last, at that point, a year and a half, to circa 2011, end of 2011. And I'm like, I could do this job much better than you. I could find much better SAP candidates and IT candidates in general, because I actually know IT. I'm in IT, I'm in SAP. Because a lot of SAP and IT recruiters, they spent their whole lives in HR, which is great, but they didn't really understand the technology. And I thought I come from a space where I knew the technology. I know there's a lot of fake candidates in the market. They would take a 3-month class and they would claim 5 years of SAP experience. I knew that I could filter those people out. So I thought I had a niche in the market. So I started my staffing agency on the side. I bootstrapped it. While I was working, at that point, I switched jobs. I was working as an SAP consultant and I bootstrapped it. And I would cold call during lunch. I would cold call after my work hours, after 5, to get business, to drum up business. I did that from 2012, 2014 for 2 years. First year, I made $0 doing it. The reason is what I didn't understand about staffing agencies, search firms, is it's a relationship business. It's the first thing you need to know is that it's a relationship business. Recruiting is a relationship business. They will do business with you if they trust you. People will do business with you if they trust you. If they don't trust you, they will not do business with you. That's the first thing you need to know. I didn't realize that. So I would cold call for the first year. I didn't make anything. I still had my full-time job, so I was okay. Second year, I finally got my first client, and that comes to the second thing I didn't understand about recruiting, at least full-time placement. It works on contingency. So what that means is clients reach out to 4 or 5 different search firms, at least 2. If you're lucky, you get exclusivity, but when I was starting out, I was not lucky. You have to work hard at it to be lucky, to be good at it, to get exclusivity for a client to work with you just exclusively with you. You gotta be good at it. So my first client did not work with me. They worked with 3 or 4 other agencies. I didn't know that. So when I bought a database, I bought Dice at the time, and I'm like, I was so gung-ho, I'm gonna staff this role. I know what I'm doing. Those other recruiters don't know SAP. I know SAP. And I spent 6 or 7 grand on Dice at the time. I bought a full year. I was very, very optimistic. And when I sent my candidate into that client, the client said, sorry, the role has been filled by another agency. And I said, what do you mean the role has been filled by another agency? We have a contract. I thought we were working together. He said, yes, we do have a contract, but I have a contract to 4 other firms. And that firm provided us with a candidate and we hired them. And we need you for another role. We'll give you a call. And they didn't call me the rest of the year. And I didn't get another client the rest of 2013. So first, this is how I started off in the recruiting business. First year, I made zero money in 2012. Second year, 2013, I even lost money. I lost $7,000 in recruiting because I bought Dice and a database and I didn't staff anyone. 2014, things changed. I finally started getting clients. I finally started staffing roles. I've staffed 4 or 5 roles, but I was bootstrapping the business and I was still working full time. So I had 2 jobs. I was doing recruiting and I was working as an IT consultant. Well, my employer figured out that my productivity as an IT consultant went down and they got rid of me. And sometimes getting fired was the best thing. And that getting fired at the time I was working at Accenture was the best thing that ever happened to me because it forced me to focus on NewConfig full time in 2015, and I focused on it full time, and the rest is history. Before, I was one leg in recruiting, one leg in IT consulting, and this forced me, getting fired forced me to focus on the recruiting and forced me to grow NewConfig, which I did. In 2015, I was a one-man shop. I had over $250,000 in revenue. To 2016, over $400,000, and fast forward to today, we have over $1.5 million in revenue as of 2023. 2024 looks like to be a very promising year. In recruiting, this is what I learned. I'll give you a third bit. It's not over till it's over. So you can't celebrate anything until the person has been there at least 60 to 90 days. So that's why we always say it's promising. We don't celebrate because a candidate could rescind the offer anytime. The client could rescind the offer anytime. The candidate could get fired. Anything could happen. So I guess that's the third thing I want to teach you. In the staffing business, don't celebrate. Don't celebrate until the candidate has been there at least 60 to 90 days. And then you could feel confident the person's going to stay. So that's the third thing you need to learn. And the fourth thing I want to teach you is recruiting, it's all about perseverance. My wife told me to quit after it didn't work out for me for 2 months. Remember, I didn't make my first dollar in recruiting for 2 years until 2014. From 2012 to 2014, I was cold calling, I was emailing, I was taking people out to lunch. Nothing was working. My girlfriend at the time, now my wife, wanted me to quit after 2 months. My father wanted me to quit after 6 months. My friends wanted me to quit too. No one believed in the business but me until it started making money in 2014. So don't believe the naysayers. And the naysayers could be the closest people in your life and they want to do well by you. But remember, they're not business people. They are good people, but they don't know what they're talking about. And you need to believe in yourself and listen to other business people that have been there and have done it. I guess that's my third and fourth tip. Listen to people that have been there and have done it. If they have not done it, I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be like you. I don't want to listen to you. So if you don't want to be like them, guess what? Don't listen to them. Don't listen to their advice if you don't want to be like them. So that's what I did. I didn't listen to their advice. I kept going. So I lost track. I think that was tip 4 or 5. Don't listen to people that are not where you want to be, and don't listen to naysayers, period. Because if I listened to naysayers, I wouldn't have a successful staffing business at this point. So I guess that's my 4th and 5th tip. I guess another tip I want to tell you is 5th tip, I lost count. 5th or 6th tip is you need leads. A staffing agency lives on leads. Leads are like a blood to a business. If you don't have leads, you die. It's like breathing. It's like blood. So you might have a client that we have that loved you and kept coming back to you. But guess what? Sometimes they get bought by a private equity firm, totally outside of their control, and you don't get any more business from them. And that's it. That is what it is. So, or a client brings in a controller or a CFO and says, we've been paying a staffing agency how much? Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. They get much worse people, but they don't want to do that anymore. So there's many reasons why your best clients leave you. That's why you always need a stream of clients to keep coming back to you. So that's what I want to share about my success in staffing and search firm. That's how I succeeded, through perseverance, through never giving up, through not listening to naysayers, through creating a plan, through cold calling, through emailing, through taking people out, through building relationships. Recruiting is all about relationships. I hope that was useful for you. I hope you got out of it, but that's how I succeeded. So thanks for listening and stay tuned for the next video.